Hey Demand Force, welcome back to Triumph. So today we have two of the manager winners that you voted for, two ASMs, Travis and Kyle, both in dental. We're going to be talking about employee investment and how they work closely with their AEs, how they help them pave the way towards building their goals, and how they help them really reach those goals that they've set in the beginning. So take a look. Really great talking to both of these men. They really invest in their employees and they're engaged, and they're two people that you might want to seek out if you having some trouble, need to talk. Really, really great managers. So here we go.
Hi, Demand Force. I'm Travis Adrania, Aerial Sales Manager in Dental.
And I'm Kyle Ono, also ASM in Dental.
How long have you been here for?
God, I think I've been here about almost 3.5 years now, actually. So time flies.
Long time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kyle?
2 years and a quarter.
How would you say that either of you establish a relationship with a new AE on your team?
I would say initially, probably the first thing that I do once I know that they're coming in on my team is I'll try to take them out, get them a coffee, or maybe kind of buy them lunch, and just kind of sit down and try to get to know them as much as I can. Some of their past successes, where they work, where they come from, and really just try to get to know them on a personal level. And I kind of figure that kind of helps kind of drop the the guard a little bit, allows these guys to be able to approach us more with questions, concerns, comments. I think it's a good way to kind of get to know them pretty fast.
I do the same, just let's not talk about work in the beginning, and let's understand hey, why'd you choose Demand Force? Where'd you come from? What you do? What you're looking to get out of this, and really the most important is what's your goal? Whether that be life goal or work goal. And there's no such thing as too small a goal, and there's no such thing as too large a goal. But we need to find that out because you're going to put in work here, and we need to know where you want to drive towards.
So it's like looking for their end goal and helping them get there.
Yeah, and it's okay if you don't know it right away. It's just having one and setting it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, but maybe sometimes it's helping them identify what that first goal may be within this first job.
Yep.
Maybe they don't know yet, and you're going to help them figure it out.
Absolutely.
That's cool.
So.
Yeah.
When I was an AE, my manager identified the coaching style that I needed to be successful, which was basically leave her alone and let her do her thing. And he implemented it accordingly. How are you able to do that and recognize what your reps need? Travis?
I think initially is to really kind of find out how open they are to feedback right away. And usually probably the best way for me to do that is to be able to have a series of one-on-ones with them very consistently, and to start sprinkling some feedback in there and kind of figure out how are they taking it. Are they in a headspace where they figure that they got it all figured out and they're not open to feedback, and that's okay too. Or are they somebody that needs constant check-ins throughout the week just to be able to make sure that they're staying on course and on par with the rest of the team and the floor. So I think initially it's really good to use managing styles like tell, sell, and ask, depending on who they are and where they fit on the floor. I
think that the hardest thing in general is for me, you're better at this, but trying to guess what type of style they are. I'd rather, if you just tell me, then we can work from there. We can try it your way, or we can do it, and if it's working, let's keep it that way. But if it's not, where do we need to change, or where can we compromise so that you're hitting your goals, and at the same time, you're comfortable with the style you're being coached?
I actually saw something you were doing, Kyle. You have a rep who likes baseball, and you laid out his play-by-play, what he needed to be successful.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like the same idea here, right?
Yeah, with that, I remember that. Okay, we were actually in this room.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a big sports guy. So we just broke it down, just like a batting average and all the stats that baseball has.
Awesome. That
basically you can say, hey, let's look at your month. How many calls did you make?
Yeah.
Okay. What was the average per days that you were here?
Mm-hmm.
How many demos did you set? Right. How many were OM and DM? How many completed? Right. How many closed?
Yeah.
Right. So we could actually figure out to the dial how many it took, and we could figure out where his efforts, because he's one of the hardest workers I have.
Awesome.
But
definitely.
Working hard isn't always working smart, so we can figure out, hey, exactly what place he needs to concentrate all that effort so that he can crush.
That is awesome. So people have said that you both are managers who are constantly seeking out feedback and looking to get better. How do you do that, and why do you do it?
Probably the big thing for me is really kind of working the floor to be able to kind of be very close to the AEs in terms of what they're saying when they're prospecting, or even on a demo, to try to really understand what their thought process behind that question was. And I think that really kind of helps me learn every single day from the people that are coming in on the team, whether they're new right out of the nest or they're new senior NSCs. It's really good to be able to hear different feedback. And unless we're kind of elbow to elbow with these guys, it's really good to kind of get their thought process behind that. So I like to find out what that is.
Yeah, I mean, just ask. Like, when you hear something awesome, like, it's great. Like, we're real lucky on 9. We sit next to a couple different verticals, and they all have talents, right, in different areas. And I sit in the middle, so I get to hear all sorts of stuff. And so it just gets me fired up. Like, I'm definitely not an expert in dental here, so I need to, or else I will sink. So yeah, it's just it's a good thing. It gives a shout out, and we can always learn more.
Yeah, that's great. How do you structure your days? How do you start the day?
That's actually a good question. I'm an early bird, so I usually try to get in here before my reps, even though there's always a few in here before us. Thank you. With that, the first thing I do is I go through the demo completed report just to kind of find out what our day was for the previous day. How many demos did we complete, and are they updating their notes and statuses correctly? Because data is key moving forward. From there, I find out what demos we have scheduled for the day, how many were with DMs, how many were with OMs, and then I try to find out what pockets throughout that day am I going to spend some time with the AEs. Whether it's going to be cold calling with them or listening to a few demos to be able to provide feedback. I really try to have a complete game plan for the day before I even really get started.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think we try to do the same thing. We have our manager is really good at teaching us the process of what success looks like, not only on a day-to-day, which is what Trav is so good at, but like on a week and a month basis. So we're trying to make that a standard here. And so we'll know just by looking not only at the numbers and the schedule, but the morale and the feel that, hey, we need to turn it on today, or like, hey, today we at the end of the day we had a loss, but we don't need to rule over everyone and let everyone hear about it. We can take this loss and turn it into a win tomorrow.
That's
Absolutely.
Great. What is the single most important thing that both of you have learned while being a manager at Intuit?
I would probably say learning the data and the numbers behind each individual AE on the floor. Because data is king, and now that we're really kind of shifting the model to be able to kind of coach to the data, I think that's probably the most important thing, specifically for me, but a lot of us, on where exactly we need to jump in to help with our AEs. And so probably the data would be the biggest thing that I would have to contribute
so
a lot of this to.
Coaching with data and
coaching with data is 100%. Whether it's their calls to demo set or demos to show up rate or demos to close ratio, we can really kind of find out where they're struggling most and really kind of jump in there to kind of help them out as fast as possible.
That's great that your AEs have someone that knows how to do that too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, the data doesn't lie. So if you said like the number one thing, right?
Yeah, the number one thing that you've learned.
I've learned that throughout my career here that the second someone feels like an expert is the second they're not. Basically, it means, hey, you've seen a lot of people come and go, and you see a lot of people that are so talented at everything. But the true leaders here and the true success stories are the people that are never satisfied with their craft, and they keep going and they keep learning. And so, I mean, it just seems like when people put themselves in like, I am the expert in this particular thing, it is the second they start the fall.
That's right.
They do themselves a disservice by thinking they're the expert.
They are great. That's how they got there.
Yeah.
But they can, that's the great thing about
constantly got to learn and change. Absolutely.
Yeah.
If a rep is struggling with one thing in their sales job, what would be the one thing that they could come to each of you for help with?
I'm gonna shout you out on this one, if you don't mind. Trav's a humble guy, and so like I don't really. I just gotta say it, like, because I hear the floor tell me it all the time. A rep can always come to Travis for being a man of the people. He's a true like roll your sleeves up kind of manager. He will go to war for anyone that gives him a good attitude and gives him a strong effort. And I've seen it happen countless times, and it inspires me here. I think that's something you can always go to Travis with.
That's great.
Well, that's a good shout out, and I'm going to give a shout out to you too, because one of the big things that I see, okay, right? Is that Kyle really knows kind of how to work the floor, and the great thing that he does here on 9 is that he's reaching out to other verticals, different teams, kind of find out what's working for those guys, success stories. He's over here in the morning firing up the LDRs, and I hear a couple times throughout the week how much that really kind of means to them. And how far that actually goes. So that's a great thing that Kyle does that we could all do in the company is really kind of just reach out and get to know everybody, right? And pump people up like you do, which is awesome.
You're the man, bro.
You're the man. Stay tuned for more videos on Tribe.